try to emulate my game after no one. I feel like people should emulate that game after me.
D-A-W-G, dog. That's the first thing you see when you turn on Luther Burden's tape. The way he attacks defenders, breaks tackles, and puts his team on his back screams competitiveness, toughness, and an unmatched will to win. You don't just stumble into scoring 8 punt return touchdowns in high school. You're born with that fire. This mentality took Burden from East St. Louis, Illinois to the forefront of the 2025 NFL Draft conversation as one of the most exciting wide receiver prospects in this year's class. Burden's high school resume was nothing short of great. 71 receptions, 1,074 yards, and 20 touchdowns in his senior season alone. On top of that, he played on the special teams unit where he racked up damn near 1,000 punt return yards and 8 touchdowns. Yes, you heard me right. 8 touchdowns. This man was embarrassing entire teams on Friday nights. And when the lights were brightest, Burden delivered. Luther Burden didn't just carry the hype he had from high school to Missouri, he exceeded it. By his sophomore season, he was the engine of the Tigers offense. With 86 receptions, over 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns, Burden didn't just produce, he dominated. Whether it was 5 consecutive 100-yard games or his career-high 177-yard explosion against Memphis, he was the player defenses planned for, but just couldn't stop. But if we're talking about Burden's junior season, we have to address the elephant in the room, Missouri quarterback Brady Cook. Despite flashes of competency, Cook was inconsistent throughout his 2024 campaign. His adjusted completion percentage of 70.7 ranked outside the top 100 quarterbacks in college football, and his big-time throw rate of 3.3% was well below average for Power 5 quarterbacks. He also struggled under pressure, with a 2.3 second time to throw average that put more stress on Missouri's offense to create opportunities quickly. These numbers had a direct impact on Luther Burden. Cook's inability to stretch the field limited Burden's opportunities for deep targets, and his inconsistencies in accuracy forced Burden to adjust to poorly placed throws. Despite these challenges, Burden still managed to put up respectable numbers in his final season, further underscoring his talent and ability to overcome difficult situations. Now, Burden's home in the NFL is going to be the slot and the data backs that. At Missouri, he ran 222 routes in the slot, showcasing his ability to win quickly, create separation, and thrive after the catch. Here's what makes him so special: his route diversity. Burden dominated on short and intermediate routes, including crossers, outs, and hitches. He had a 74% catch rate and created explosive plays on 40% of his slot targets. His yak ability. His 6.3 yards after the catch per reception highlights his elite vision and balance. Defenders rarely bring him down on first contact. And his success versus zone coverage. His ability to find soft spots was second to none. Even against man, his short area quickness consistently left defenders in the dust. The slot is where Burden's elite traits, his contact balance, the explosiveness, that creativity, that punt returner, that dog, that's where it's going to be maximized. NFL offenses thrive on timing routes from the slot, and Burden's ability to combine reliability with game-breaking potential makes him a perfect fit for that type of role in today's NFL offense. Now, I always say, just because a player wasn't asked to do something in college doesn't mean that player's incapable of doing it at the next level. So when you look at Luther Burden, while his bread and butter will most definitely be in the slot, his work outside can't be ignored. Across 30 routes run on the outside in 2024, Burden showcased flashes of being a dangerous vertical threat. On go routes and posts, Burden averaged 20.7 yards per reception, showcases that he can win downfield. His 66.7% catch rate on the outside proves he can handle tougher throws even when the windows are tighter. While Burden's smaller frame limits his ability to consistently win against press coverage, his vertical ability and ball tracking skills still allowed him to make big plays down the field. Burden's outside role will be more complimentary, but the flashes he showed, he can stretch the field when needed. This versatility will appeal to NFL teams and coaches looking to move him around and exploit matchups. The 2025 wide receiver class has some talent. Where does Luther Burden stand up against the likes of Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, Tedoror McMillan from Arizona, Travis Hunter, if he plays wide receiver, from Colorado, Trey Harris from Ole Miss, Matthew Golden from Texas? Burden's ability to dominate from the slot separates him from contested catch specialists like Golden and Trey Harris. Both are excellent outside threats, but neither match Burton's short area quickness or yak dominance. Now, Emeka Egbuka, he's polished. He brings a complete route tree, but Burton's explosiveness gives him a potential higher ceiling as a game breaker. While Egbuka might be the safer pick, Burton offers a much more dynamic skill set and potential. Now, when you look at Travis Hunter, he's a freak athlete with elite ball skills, but his two-way play makes his time on the offense to develop as a receiver more of a project than a sure thing. While Ted McMillan sits as the current consensus wide receiver 1 in this class, depending on team need, don't be surprised if offenses craving a dynamic slot weapon have Luther Burton as their wide receiver 1. Burton's value lies in his ability to dominate in the slot, a position that has become a cornerstone for NFL offenses. Players like Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra St. Brown have shown a great slot wide receiver can transform an offense. Burton brings that same type of potential with added explosiveness. His short area quickness and elite yak ability make him a mismatch nightmare against linebackers and safeties, while his strength and contact balance allow him to win in contested catch situations. NFL coordinators will salivate at the thought of scheming him in space, where his creativity and burst can take over. Luther Burton's play style right now reminds me of former NFL Pro Bowler Golden Tate. Tate made a career out of turning short completions into game-breaking plays, and Burton brings that same tackle-breaking strength and vision. However, Burton's explosiveness gives him a gear Tate never had. Imagine Tate's toughness and yak ability paired with a little more burst, a little more play speed. Like Luther Burton, yeah, that's who we might be looking at in this 25 class. Luther Burton isn't just a wide receiver, he's a weapon. His mentality, his skill set, and his production all scream game changer. He's the guy who fights for every yard, who doesn't shy away from contact, who makes defenses pay for the smallest mistakes. When his name is called in the 2025 NFL Draft, don't just think slot receiver, think playmaker. Think D-A-W-G.
Rolling through the city with the big dogs.